Survivor is back, and Phil and Will are here to break down all of the exciting news from yesterday. We finally got a new cast, season 30. We can finally get the bad taste of season 29 out of our mouths, and we're moving on with what I feel like could be a very, very exciting cast. So this week we're just going to break down everybody who's out there, who we like, who we feel like's got a real good shot to win it, who we don't like, and you know we'll see what we end up coming up with. But overall, I think it's a really, really solid cast. Going into what will be the 30th season of Survivor.
Yeah, this cast is much better than San Juan del Sur, just from their cast videos. I mean, I remember watching the San Juan del Sur cast videos and just being like, ugh, this is, it felt disappointing. After watching these videos, though, I'm pretty excited. A lot of these players are really big fans who have seen, like, every episode, and that's just good to see, that these people, it seems like they're coming to play, so it should be a pretty exciting season.
Yeah, and something that I really pay attention to when it comes out is who do these people say that they're most like? Like, what Survivor do they feel like they're most like? And we'll get into it when we actually break down the characters, but some of the people they were coming up with, I was like, okay, these people have watched the show before, because they're not just saying, you didn't get 15 Parvati's like you normally get. Sure, you got 2 or 3 of them, but you didn't get too many.
We got a lot of Parvati's.
Well, every girl,
every chick is just like, I'm Parvati. Like, I flirt, I'm hot, and I'm gonna win. Like, that's just how, especially like the younger chicks. Like, that's who they want to be, is like Parvati, because like she's just the Myth Survivor superstar. She's won the game. She's played 3 times. She now does post shows and interviews.
Well, here, let me say this, though. When I'm looking at the people who said Parvati, only 2 of them only said Parvati. And the other people that they mentioned along with Parvati are interesting choices. And I think it wasn't just like every girl was like, I'm Parvati because I want to be the young, hot girl out there.
I felt like every girl did say Parvati. Well, we'll get into it.
We're going to get into it because
we're going to count after. But yeah, let's start it off. Let's start with the white collar tribe. We'll do men first, and then we'll do the woman. And we're using Google Hangouts here, and we're gonna see if this photo thing works. We haven't really found the best way to do this, but we'll see if it works. If it doesn't, we apologize. We're still learning how to use Google Hangouts, and it'll get better. So here is Max Dawson.
We're not responsible if your screens explode or anything. We didn't know what we did. I'm sorry. But yeah, Max Dawson, that's a perfect person to start with for this cast, because he is one of the biggest Survivor fans I think this show has ever had on it.
Yeah, this is definitely the biggest fan to ever get on the show, who's done, he's known throughout the Survivor community already, and that it's rare for someone like that to get on the show. I don't think it's really ever happened. I mean, maybe like Jimmy Johnson, if he had mentioned oh, I'm a huge Survivor fan, I'm famous or whatever, but this is a Survivor. He's known for his Survivor fandom. He taught the class at Northwestern, and he's coming to play. Do you think anyone will recognize him? I don't think so, but do you think?
No, because I'm a huge Survivor fan, and I go on to all those little forums and the Facebook groups and everything. And as far as Max goes, I wouldn't recognize him if I just showed up on an island with him. I mean, granted, he's got the huge beard and he looks the part, but I mean, I wouldn't have known. And I consider myself
I wouldn't have either. Obviously, we're big fans. I've heard about him before, but I've never really seen a picture of him. So I think I think he's gonna spill the beans at some point, though. That's my only thing with Max, is he's there to play, but that's such a if you're teaching a Survivor class, that's something you want to tell people, especially people who are also Survivor fans, playing the game and kind of brag about it. But it's gonna be hard for him to keep that one tucked away.
It is, but the thing is, he seems like he's a smart guy. I mean, he taught at Northwestern. He's got to be a pretty damn smart guy. And maybe he's smart enough to keep his ego a little bit in check. I mean, from all his interviews, he seemed like he was a really fun guy, and he seemed like he was a really smart guy. So I'm hoping that he does keep it in check, because this is somebody I'd really like to see go far.
Definitely. I would love to see, I mean, he's a cool guy. I would love to see him even win. The only thing is, as we're going to talk about this white-collar tribe, it just might be tough for one of them to win. Just because, they're on this white-collar tribe, people are just going to be threatened by them because, wow, they must be smart, they make a lot of money, they make important decisions. Let's get the white-collar people out of here. I don't know how much that will have influence as the game goes on, but that would be my only thing with this white collar tribe.
Well,
Do you agree with that, or what are your
I
thoughts on that?
I agree for the most part, but with somebody like Max, it says on here that his job is a media consultant. And if he's a media consultant and then on top of that he can just go and say that, he's a teacher at a school. Yeah, he's got a PhD, but there's plenty of professors, who aren't the brightest people. They might just think, "Oh, he got thrown on white collar. He doesn't look like a white collar guy." That's my whole thing. So I don't feel like he's going to get as pushed into the category as the other four out of the other five.
Okay. I hear you. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how these like dynamic. And I'm sure there'll be a switch up early, and they'll get to know each other, and that the theme will kind of fall off. But I wonder how long, and people will take into account this kind of the tribe divisions of callers. Um, who do you think he's most like? Former Survivor player.
Well, what kills me is that he put Jonathan Penner. And I love Jonathan Penner. As far as who I think he's going to be like, he knows the game, so I could see him being somebody like a Penner, maybe even a Cochran, somebody who just really loves the game. Because, I mean, Cochran, what he got on because he wrote the whole jury thing about it.
Yeah, I
But,
was feeling more Cochran with this, and he didn't mention
yeah.
that. But or did he? He didn't, did he?
No, he just said Jonathan Penner because we are both opinionated, outspoken, truth-telling Jews, which is awesome. You know, so he's got me right there. I mean, he's funny. He loves it. You know.
No, he'll be good. He'll be good. You got anything else you want to add about Max?
No, I think that's it. Let's keep
Yeah,
it
I mean
going.
we're both excited to see this guy play, and
He,
I guess we both think he has a fairly good shot to go far and do well.
and
So
his was actually the first video I watched. So the rest of the white collar, I'm sorry, but after I watched his, you were all letdowns a little bit. But because I loved him so much.
yeah, no, I'm excited for him. Okay, we'll move on to Joaquin.
Oh my God, dude, I can't stand Joaquin. What I don't even know. How do you say his last name? Bill.
I don't know. He seems like totally arrogant douchebag.
He seems unnecessarily arrogant. You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Drew.
Yeah, he does. He's probably a Drew with a little bit more intelligence, but I still don't think he's very self-aware.
Oh, he's not self. His interview, I mean, he just kept saying, "I'm the alpha male. Everywhere I go, I'm the alpha male." And I mean, that's all he wanted to say. It's like, dude, that's not what you want to come out on Survivor and do. You're gonna be the first or second one voted off. He doesn't look like
Yeah,
he's that much stronger than Tyler or Max. So,
I see him as like a very early boot, probably going out pre-merge.
and if he lasts long enough, he'll probably be one of the villains of the season. But I don't see him lasting long. I think that White Collar loses once or twice, he's gonna be too much, and they're just gonna get rid of him unless he can check his ego. But I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean we're giving this guy kind of almost no chance right now. Is that how you feel? Or
I
like
do, I
out of
do,
all
and
the
then
people in the cast, like I think this guy might have the lowest chance of winning the game.
yeah, I'd say him along with one other person. It's between him and somebody else for who I'm sitting there saying neither of you are going to win this game, and there's no way you are. And one of the things I really look at, like I said, is who are you most like? Which contestant have you played like? And he says no one. And at this point, we're 30 seasons in. Everybody's like someone, and that just means to me he hasn't watched the
I think
show.
that's. I don't think it's that he hasn't watched the show. I just think it's an arrogance factor. He thinks that highly of himself that no one is like, up there with him on his, like that's what he thinks that he's like the he's like godly, like no one's like me. I'm above everybody. You're never gonna see anything like this, you know.
Yeah. Well, and
Just arrogance, ego. He even said he's selfish, and those are the things like the big egos, the selfish people who can't like didn't he even say it's my way or the highway, or was that somebody else?
I don't remember exactly what he said. I just remember him. Everything was either selfish, arrogant, alpha male. Like those were like the only three things that came out of his mouth.
Is that the three words to describe him? He
Yeah.
says outgoing, charismatic, and social.
Yeah, that's he's
We'll
not
see.
social.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that.
We'll
We'll
see.
see. If he does get far, it will be because he's on a struggling tribe and they really need him for challenges. Like if this white collar tribe like kind of falls apart and they have to vote out, if they're down to like 3 members or 4 members, like I would, and they don't realize his annoyance in like the first 3 6 days, but they might have to keep him later on, and that'd be the only way I can see him kind of wiggling his way into the merge. But I don't see anyone giving this guy $1 million.
No. I think he can't win. He could be a GOAT that somebody might keep around. But I'm looking at this tribe, and other than maybe I think he's not necessary. Like, nobody on this tribe is absolutely weak. So if he annoys them, they're just going to be like, forget it. We don't need him.
Yeah, I think we have our opinion on Joaquin. He could prove us wrong, but we think he's probably an early boot.
So who we got next?
We have Tyler.
Tyler was weird for me. I felt like he was nervous in all his interviews.
Really, I feel like he's interesting. I feel like he's another guy who thinks really highly of himself. He has a big ego, probably. He's a huge fan of the show. I think him and Max, they either get along really well or they butt heads and take one of them goes out early.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think that their dynamic is going to be the whole key to that tribe, because I feel like the women aren't going to combine and get rid of Max or Tyler first. They would get rid of Joaquin, from what I'm seeing. Tyler seems like he's a really smart guy. It just comes down to, once again, how into himself is he? Does he actually think that he is like a Joaquin, or could he kind of push it to the side and not let people think that he's the smartest guy in the world and that he played NFL football and that, he was a casting agent? Like, can he keep that all to himself, or does he have to tell everybody? And to me, I think he's going to keep it to himself a little bit.
I hope so, because he seems like this guy he's almost like a Cochran who's athletic, it feels like, because he was a professional football player. I know he's a kicker, but he's athletic. And he's really smart. He knows the game inside and out. And he said, which player is he most like?
He said Boston Rob.
Because he's a flirt? He looks like a nerd. Like, is he that much of a flirt?
Here was my thing. That's what I'm saying. When he was talking to the camera, I didn't get the charisma that I thought I was going to get from him. He seemed like he's going to take a little bit to warm up to the cameras, as opposed to somebody like Max, who just walked right on set and you were like, okay, that guy, he's excited, he looks like he's ready to go. Tyler looks like he's going to take a little bit to get his footing and get used to the whole thing.
Yeah, I can see that. I would say Tyler, though, is if he gets to the end, he's got a lot of potential to win. And same with Max. I mean, when we go through each of these castaways, we'll just think, do they have a real shot at winning the game? And I think Tyler certainly does if he can get to the merge.
And the thing, once again, these guys are white collar, and I remember we were talking about it. What's going to be considered white collar? What's going to be considered blue collar? He worked for a talent agency, and then he also kicked for the NFL. So really, what's white collar about that? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not in your face like, I want to boss you around. I feel like he's not really as white collar as white collar can be.
Yeah, like he already has a Wikipedia page, and it's like barely anything is about his casting or his whatever. He worked for the CAA. He was an assistant there, he said. Like, he wasn't some big agent. Like, he worked for an agency as an assistant, but everything was about football. Like, he played on 7 different professional teams. Like, he's a football player, really, it seems like. And there's nothing really white collar about being a football player, but he wears glasses. He looks a little nerdy. You can tell he's smart, well-spoken. He probably has a lot of money. So I see where he is white collar, but they're really pushing, like, when the occupation comes up, like on his bio, it says, let's see, where does it say occupation?
I have that.
Ex-talent agent assistant.
Yeah.
Like that's not what he even does anymore. What is he doing now?
I don't think he's doing anything, but I think because he made enough money kicking for the NFL. But I think what works in his favor is when you look at this guy, you don't think football player. And then he was on the white collar tribe, so you're really not thinking football player. He can kind of keep that to himself and lay low, and nobody's ever going to know how much money he really has.
That's the thing. When you're out there for 39 days, it's hard not to tell people like what you do for a living, what you've done all your life. Like, his biggest achievement, his claim to fame, is kicking the game-winning field goal against USC. That's that's gonna be hard to not tell people. I mean, what is? I mean, if let's depends on if he lies or not. We'll have to see. But
But I mean,
I would
once again,
say
though, well, with that, I mean, that's a college sport. That doesn't mean he went pro. I mean, I was on a college team. Like, you know what I mean? Like, uh, you bring that stuff up, but you're not saying this is how I made my living. He's just got to make sure he doesn't say, hey, I kicked in the NFL for 7 different teams. Because honestly, I'd never heard of him. And I watch the
no,
NFL
I
all the
haven't
time.
either. And he was never like a big star kicker. So, like he bounced around. Like he played in some low minor league teams that aren't as good as the NFL. Like he kicked in preseason games. I don't even know if he kicked in an NFL regular season game. I'm not really sure, but he's. We'll just have to see how he handles his kind of the way he lets other people think about him. Like that's all up to him. It's he decides what he tells them, and if he plays it right, I can see him doing really well. If not, I can see him almost maybe voted out early.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. I think that he could be an end game player, though.
Is he? Do you think he's the? I guess he's not the weakest of the white collar tribe. Max, he's older, so if they were going to go for strength early, he would probably stick around.
Well, I mean, if they're going to go for strength early, they're going to get rid of
The women probably.
yeah, who do we have next?
Okay, yeah, let's move on from Tyler. He'll be interesting to see. He's coming to play though. We have So Kim next.
Okay, I think she's actually very athletic. She looks athletic. Her hobbies, adventuring, traveling, dancing. She seems like she's a really athletic person. So she wouldn't be the first one to go either on that tribe.
Unless she's like not coordinated at all. Like she can be fit and just not coordinated. But yeah,
Well,
she likes swimming. She likes eating. She says eating is a sport. I guess that's kind of funny.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't really know about her. I feel like she's gonna be a player that kind of just is kind of there.
Well,
I
here's a
didn't
fun
get, I
fact
didn't
though.
get anything like big from her.
But here's a fun fact about So Kim. Her and her sister were supposed to be the last two castaways on San Juan del Sur.
Yeah, and they saved us from having Redemption Island again.
Yeah, they did. And her sister got sick, so they moved her to this season. So they obviously liked her a lot because they really wanted to get her on the show. If they were trying last season and then that doesn't work out, they don't always get them on the next season. Remember, they wanted Jimmy Johnson for Gabon, and they didn't get him on till Nicaragua. So I feel like they really like her. And I don't know, she's a little boring.
That's
I,
yeah. I just didn't get anything like I didn't get much from like what I saw of that cast video and what I read from her bio. Like I just don't really. So she says she's like Aussie because she's physical, capable,
Agile.
self-righteous,
Yeah.
Harvardy, cute, flirty, and Cochran. Uh, like okay, those are pretty obvious choices. If nothing crazy, like
Yeah, I'm
Parvati
just
and
happy.
Cochran, everyone thinks they're Parvati and Cochran.
I'm just happy that she didn't think she was just Parvati. So that's why I like her because she didn't say just Parvati. Because anytime somebody says just Parvati, it makes me mad. So I'm happy she didn't say that. She threw in Cochran, she threw in Ozzy. But I mean, that's the most interesting thing she did was tell us who she's most like. Because other than that, there's really nothing like you said. There's not that much there. But I guess the casting really loved her.
Like, who doesn't love traveling and laughing and living? Like, that's her
Yeah,
hobbies. Like,
exactly.
um, she says, "I'm the people who know me say I'm the strongest girl they know, physically, mentally, and emotionally." Like, really? Do they really say that about you? So, Kim, I don't know. She's kind of a wild card for me. I don't really see her winning the game. I don't see her as like a winner.
Yeah,
Maybe she gets far, but maybe she goes home early. Maybe she's merge boot. I don't know what she is. I don't have. She doesn't have a winner vibe.
and the thing is like I don't. I feel like I feel like she's just gonna kind of fall to the wayside a little bit. I feel like she's too quiet. She's not in your face enough, and I feel like she's just gonna kind of get pushed to the side against huge personalities. I mean, if she makes it to a tribe swap and she ends up on a tribe with a bunch of no collars, we're never gonna hear from her until her boot episode.
Yeah, this cast has a lot of big personalities, so I could see her just getting overshadowed and just kind of you know. But yeah, we kind of said. Do you have anything else on So Kim?
Nah, move whoever we got next.
Okay, we got Shirin, who
There's the
is
one.
this is like the internet's pre-pick to win. This is like she stole the casting, uh, stole the show with these cast announcements. That she's been the most. She's like Val from San Juan del Sur. I feel like
Okay, here's my
with regards to like everyone picking her to win before it starts.
here's my thing with Sharon. If they do go for strength, she's gonna be the first one gone. If they don't go for strength, which I kind of hope they don't, because she seems funny and she seems interesting and she seems into herself enough and sarcastic enough, and she even says she's a sassy brown woman, just like Sandra. That's what she says, and I feel like she is, and I'd like to see her stick around a little bit. Do I think she's gonna win? I think that it's going to come down to she's one of those people who's going to talk about herself a little bit, and I feel like that's going to end up hurting her. I mean, she made Google Calendar #1 online calendar in the world. That's that's a pretty big deal. That's going to be something hard not to tell people about.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, like you can't just lie about. I mean, some people lie about what they do, but these white collar people, they seem like egomaniacs. Like it just I love how her inspiration in life is Larry David. I really like that. I mean, this
Yeah,
girl will be fun to watch, and I just I fear for her that she's just a little bit too into herself. That's kind of the vibe that I got from her.
well, I also feel like
People
she.
get annoyed with that. Like that's
Yeah,
annoying when someone is just like all they talk about. I mean, we see it on Survivor all the time. Like these egos just they get voted out.
and that's what I was going to say. I feel like she might just be a little too much for some people. Because I mean, when I was watching her, I liked she was kind of sarcastic, she was witty, she was clever. But I feel like some of these people might just be like, do we really need to keep her around? And she might start to irritate people. I mean, her pet peeves are quitters and morons. If she starts calling people morons and starts playing up the Sandra card too much, there's only one Sandra. So I don't think that she can play like Sandra and win the game.
Yeah, she doesn't seem to be as like fiery as Sandra. She seems kind of calm and collected a little. I mean, I see her being sarcastic and witty, but in kind of a way quieter way than Sandra. I don't see that sassiness that Sandra has. But she did say Rob C also,
Yeah,
and which
we
I mean
all love
we
Rob.
hope right.
Yeah.
We hope she can be. I mean, a Rob C Sandra combo would be great to see. It's just this is coming from her, not anyone else. So I guess we'll have to. I mean, we're just kind of predict. We're taking we're taking shots in the dark pretty much. We've gotten like a minute of each of them talking to a camera and some questions. But yeah, I'm excited to see her play. This is just this cast has a lot of people that are coming to play the game. But they're
Yeah.
gamers. Like so far, I mean, everyone says like the people we've gone to, everyone's been like, yeah, I'm gonna win the million. I'm here to win. I'll do anything it takes. Like I'm gonna lie. Like so, it's exciting.
It is. And so far, what I like about this cast is, other than Joaquin, anybody that we've talked about could win. And that doesn't normally happen when you go through 5 people in a cast.
Yeah. And yeah, the Charette, I can see if she gets to the end, I feel like she'd be really good with the jury,
Hmm.
and I could see her getting votes and people awarding her with the million.
Now, let
Okay.
me one last thing on her though. What is that bathing suit?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a funny looking one.
I don't
I
get it.
don't think she picked it out. It's definitely casting. Hopefully that they don't vote her out for that.
All right.
Okay.
Well,
Should we go on to Carolyn?
yeah, Carolyn Rivera, the last one on the white collar.
Yep.
Um,
And she just looks like Missy. Like I just can't. It's in my head that she is Missy. I don't
yeah,
know if
which
you felt that way. I feel like I get this like this Missy vibe right off the bat, which isn't her fault or anything. But
I really hope we don't get a Missy vibe, because I'm not a huge Missy fan, as I said, like all of last season. But I feel like Carolyn's a little bit of a loose cannon.
I could see that. I think she's a little bit spunky. I would say she's she's definitely. I mean, she's a corporate executive. I mean, she's a legitimate white collar person. But she doesn't do anything like it's not like she's famous in any way for anything. So like maybe she's a little less of an egomaniac.
Yeah, and she seems like she's pretty athletic. She seems like she's pretty smart. I enjoyed like listening to her talk. It just seemed like she was a little all over the place. You know what I mean? And she says she wants to play like Sandra and Denise, and hopefully we get a little bit of both of those. This is what I'm talking about. Like these people picked some pretty unique people. I don't think anybody on Last Cast was saying Denise. I don't think anybody knew who Denise was because I don't think they'd seen 3 seasons previous.
Right. And I could see Denise in this chick, but Denise was very calculating. I don't get like that calculating um, vibe from Carolyn, but I mean, like we've said, we've only seen a minute of them talking and some interview questions. But
Well, the other thing that might hurt her is she's 52. She's the oldest one in the cast.
she doesn't look 52, so good for her on that.
Yeah.
Like this white collar tribe is pretty athletic. So
Yeah.
who do you think's stronger? Do you think Sharon's stronger or Carolyn?
I think Carolyn's probably a little bit stronger. I feel like Sharin's a little bit of a book nerd, to be honest with you, and I think Carolyn's a little bit. She's just older, but I feel like she's got more of like a sportsy background.
Okay, so if you're on the white collar tribe and you're going to tribal voting for strength, you're voting Sharon before you're voting um,
What I
Carolyn.
think what I think could help Carolyn is that this tribe is actually a little bit older. There's by terms of survivor standards, there's only one person in their 20s.
Right. That's true. That's true.
Which is really young by survivor standards. And if Max decides he wants to team up with Carolyn, and if Max and Tyler can work something together, that could be your threesome from this group. I mean, I'm just speculating, but I feel like the three of them all have personalities that kind of mix, and none of them are going to be too overbearing to each other. Whereas Sharin and Joaquin are both, feel like, a little overbearing, and then So is just a little and I don't feel like that they're going to really want to keep her around that much. So that's just me. That's just all speculation right there. But
It really
hopefully I'm
is.
right.
It's all speculation, but I would love to see an alliance with Tyler and Max, and then them pull, one of the females into that. That would be a very strong alliance. Okay, we'll move on to the blue collar tribe.
Well, what do you think
And it's time to
overall?
do,
Overall white collar. Before we move into blue collar, overall white
oh,
collar.
okay. I think I just think being on the white collar tribe kind of hurts their chance of winning the game because first they have off the bat like the white collar people you just think success. When you think success, you think money, and when you're awarding $1 million, you don't want to give it to someone who doesn't really need it. Especially when you have the other two tribes are pretty much screaming like no money.
Yeah.
Like
And
blue collar screams, I work hard, I don't get paid enough for it. I have a family, blah blah blah. I need money. And no color is like I don't even know what I'm really doing. I'm just kind of floating around all over the place. I could really use money because I just do my own thing. So that would be my overall thing with not that the people themselves are like bad. I don't really see a white collar person winning the game. I don't think the winner will be from this tribe.
I feel like this tribe is almost like the villains tribe in Heroes versus Villains, where the only way they were going to win is if there were no heroes left, and that's how the villains won. And I feel like that's what would happen with white collar. The only way they're going to win is if they go to the end and it's all white collar people, or if you get somebody from blue or no collar who everybody just can't stand. And that's what I think is going to come down to is can they keep their numbers strong enough before a tribe swap or before the merge so that they can kind of try to run stuff down to the end.
That's a very very good analogy with the heroes versus villains. That's very well put, Phil.
Oh, thank you.
I agree. I think they're gonna need to stick together in order for one of them to win. Like if one of these people gets to the finals against like two no collar or two blue collar or one of each, like I just don't see them getting the votes needed.
I agree. I agree. All right, now we can move on to blue collar.
Do
Now I
you,
give
do you
you
want to do
permission.
you want to do a ranking? Do you want to do a ranking of this tribe? Chances to win?
Yeah, I could do if you want me to do one right off the top of my head.
Sure,
See
you
if,
go.
all right, I would say just in terms of chances to win, not who I like the most. I would say Tyler's got the best chance, then Sharin, then Max, then Carolyn, So Joaquin.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go reverse direction. I'm gonna go Joaquin, So Kim, um, then Sharin, then Max, then Tyler.
All right, so that
Boom.
was that was from worst to best.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think Tyler, you and I both would say Tyler has like the best shot to win the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Um, anything else for the white collar tribe?
No, let's go to blue now.
Okay, we'll start with the woman from the blue collar tribe. Oh, the photo you can't really see her face.
Uh-oh.
That's too
There's
bad. Sierra.
Oh my God, dude, of all the people. Way to blow
I
that one.
know. Well, I don't. I mean, I wish in the picture, I wish at least she was at least wearing a bathing suit, but
Well,
she's got that like kind of beach garment that over the what do they call those? Like you wear it over a bathing suit.
oh, dude. I don't know, man.
I feel like there's a good word for that.
I
I'm
know
blanking on it.
I know people call it something. I've heard
They
girls call it
definitely do. They do.
something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you get her legs? I mean, she's a barrel racer. I don't really know what that means, but I'm
Yeah,
assuming
I
that
don't
would
really
mean
know what
she
that
has to
means
have
either.
strong legs.
Seems pretty cool. But she's 6'1", and she says she's a model, and she's really hot. Like I can see her like flirting her way and being like physically capable, and she seemed actually pretty level-headed and smarter than I like initially thought she would be. So I think pretty highly of Sierra. It's not just one of the like hot. She's not like a Jacqueline, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like Jacqueline was never going to win. I think Sierra could win. Win the game.
Well, with Sierra, first of all, she has the second best job out of anybody on this season. She says she's most like Parvati Shallow, hands down, and I completely agreed with her when watching it. The only problem with her is she's on an older tribe again, and the men on her tribe, she's got Mike, who's 38, and Dan, who's 47. That could work against her because they might not be so easily flirted with. It's not like she's on a tribe with a bunch of 20 and 30-year-old men, and I feel like that's going to be her strong suit is flirting her way to the top. And I feel like she definitely has the personality to do it. And I like Sierra. I really do. I like her on this season, not just because of looks. And I feel like she has a really good plan going into this game of how she can win. And she looks like she's a great athlete. I mean, what her hobbies, rodeo, basketball, football, hunting, fishing. The thing with her is she's on an older tribe. And if she starts to try to flirt her way around, they might try to take her out for that.
Yeah, the good thing with her, I think, is that she has like a buffer in that Lindsay, I think, will go before her on her tribe. I just
Yeah.
think that it's not like she's going to get picked off first from her tribe. I mean, Lindsay will be the next one we talk about, but I think that helps her a little bit. Like, they'll give her time to, make bonds, and she's not just going to be like, oh, there's the hot girl who, she's good to look at, doesn't really help us in challenges. No, she's physical and seems like not like just an annoying young girl. I mean, how old is she? She's 27, so it's not like
Yeah.
she's a 23, 24, 25, like 27. You're getting close to 30. I think she shows some maturity. So
Well, that was like when
um,
Kim played. Kim was in her upper 20s. So everybody was like, oh, she's still in her 20s, but there's a difference between 27 and 22. That's the way I
right,
look at it.
right. Yeah, I like her. I think if she can get to the merge, I think she's a big threat.
Yeah.
You always wonder with like the younger pretty girls, it's like half of them go out pre-merge and then half kind of fall, kind of to the back seat once the merge hits.
Well,
Um,
what always blows my mind every season of Survivor is before the merge, everybody's like, "Oh, we got to get rid of that girl. She's too weak, and then if she does make it to the merge, she's gonna flirt her way to the top." And then that same girl that they forget to get rid of pre-merge, but they're saying all that stuff about, makes it to the merge, and then all of a sudden they look at her like she's not a threat. And that's what blows my mind is half the time these girls who you think are going to go pre-merge and everybody's talking about getting rid of them, all of a sudden they hit the merge and it's like, oh, they're going to go all the way to the end. And if they do play the game like Parvati did very smartly and like quiet and kind of behind the scenes a little bit, why wouldn't they win? And I feel like
right.
people do kind
How
of
many
forget
like
about them.
how many like young cute girls have won? It's quite like Amber,
Natalie.
Jenna, Natalie White, Parvati, and
Who was
then
the other
there's
one
been a
you
bunch
said?
from the
Who
Amber,
did you?
Jenna, Natalie White,
Oh,
Parvati.
Jenna. Yeah, Jenna definitely. I mean, because Kim is more along. I look at Sierra as more of a Kim in terms of
Okay, yeah,
age.
Kim, she was like, she just, yeah, she didn't give out like immature, younger. Not that the other winners were immature, but Kim was just, she seemed more together than the others. But I could see her. Yeah, I'm excited about Sierra. We don't have much to go on. What I've seen, I've liked.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, we will move on to Lindsay.
And I mean, I don't know what their thing is with Lindsay's who are hairdressers and hairstylists and cover themselves with tattoos. And I just hope that this one turns out better than Lindsay Ogle. That's all I hope.
I think Lindsay screams first boot.
Really.
If they go to tribal, I mean, I feel like she's going to be the one to go.
You know what
I
it is?
don't think
I lost you there. What'd you say?
I don't think she's that physical. She said like, what was your favorite sport? She said dating. She just seems very. She seems like almost like a no collar person, but she just like she could bring three things to the island: waterproof mascara, vodka. Um, Remember Angie and the whole cookie thing? Like I could see her just being like an Angie just kind of head not in the game. She's not that strong. She's just there for like an adventure and a good time, have a vacation on the beach. I
she
could
does.
she'd be one I would even see like maybe quitting.
She does say that she's like Sierra though from Blood versus Water, which that's cool because Sierra Blood versus Water Sierra was like awesome, and then she says I'm all that plus strength. So maybe she is stronger than she leads on, but on this blue collar tribe, she's by far the weakest.
And that's what I'm saying. Like if they go to tribal council, I mean they're gonna go to you would think they're gonna go to tribal council unless they don't go before a swap and they just avoid tribal council. If that doesn't happen, I see her going very early. I don't see her making it to the merge. I mean, I could be wrong. This is just speculation. I don't see her making the merge.
Yeah, and like I said, I think she's just too different for everybody else on that tribe, and I think that's what
She's
always
not
ends up.
really she's not really a blue collar person, like at
No,
all. She would fit in better with the no collars.
but then you look at the no collars, and it's like, who would you take out? And really, maybe Haley, but Haley's a law student, so she's more white collar than she would be blue collar. So I mean, I
Yeah,
feel
I'm
like
not, I'm not saying they need to switch it up or the casting did wrong. I'm just saying the way it turns out now, I think she's really going to be on the outs with her tribe. But maybe she'll impress me. I'm just you can't love everybody. I think I like Sierra a lot. I don't think Lindsay has that great of a chance to win.
no, I agree with you actually. So I mean, I'm not going to argue. I'm trying to point out some positives. I root for people like this because I always want the stereotype to overcome itself, kind of like when Angie did it back in Palau, where she was one of the last 4 or 5 on that tribe that just got demolished.
Yeah, that
She
was
was a,
cool.
she was cool to watch, and it's fun to watch people overcome the eye test and really start to play the game because I'm sure she can play. It's just I don't see her surviving
Yeah.
the early game.
The Sierra comment is cool though, because that's like a pretty not an underground player, but it's clear she hasn't seen just one season. I know it's a
Yeah.
recent season, but still, it's an interesting pick, and we'll have to see with her. I don't think that she's got a good shot. Okay, now we'll move on to Kelly,
I
another
like Kelly.
cop, another cop.
Yeah, and
Ah,
I really like
see,
her,
I
man.
don't. And maybe this is probably the person we disagree on the most so far. I don't really like Kelly.
I was iffy on her when I saw she's a 44-year-old state trooper from New York. New Yorkers, they have that attitude that just comes naturally with being a New Yorker. Um, I don't think that my whole thing is she's not like a Sarah where she's gonna walk right into like this whole, oh, because you swore on your badge, we're gonna go all the way to the end together. She says her biggest pet peeve is commitment. So I could see her kind of being a little devious and just playing the game, and I feel like she's a fun one to watch if she can keep it all under control and keep going.
I there's her bio is so short. She just like very very quick answers. I just don't really know about her. Her video didn't really give me anything. She kind of seems like she would annoy people, and maybe that's just because she kind of annoyed me in her video. But I could see the tribe, the blue collar tribe, just being like, all right, we've had enough of Kelly. And like you said, the New York attitude. Like when you're living with someone on an island with the bare essentials, and you're hungry and you're sleep deprived, someone like Kelly, I could just see getting on people's nerves, especially because she's a cop. They have like this, they feel this authority just no matter where they are, even when they're not in uniform. They just feel like they kind of make decisions. I could see her almost being like trying to become like a leader of the tribe. Like when they're building the shelter, I can see her giving out orders, and I think that will rub people the wrong way. And I mean, we don't. I mean, that's what I think. You like her though,
I liked her.
Yeah. Well, it's good. We have differing opinions, which is good. So I will. Well, when we do our fantasy game, you might take her. I certainly won't.
Well, my whole thing is, didn't you say when we were doing our last podcast, didn't you say that a blue collar person was going to win?
I did say that before even seeing any of the cast. I just thought it was mainly because you picked no collar, and I really think the white collar people have they got kind of a raw deal with this theme. So I don't think a white collar person's gonna win. And you had said no collar, so it was kind of like I wanted to pick a blue collar person. But yeah, I'm not impressed with the blue collar tribe that much, to be honest.
I think they're characters, but I don't think that any of them really have. I don't think any of them are going to the end and winning. That's just me. I don't feel like any of them fit the winner that we've seen from this show. The only one out of the women, I could see Kelly winning. I like Kelly, but I could also see her rubbing people the wrong way.
What about Sierra? We both
Sierra
said
could win. That's what I was going to say. Sierra could definitely win. Kelly is iffy. Lindsay has no chance. And then when we get to the men here, oh my God.
All right, let's go. Let's go.
Let's go right into the men. Who's first?
Boston Rod.
Dude, I cannot. Dude, this is the. Oh my God. This guy, what? He's just the biggest tool of all time, dude. There's no way. I smile thinking about his interviews because it was so ridiculous to watch this guy. Like, I can't. He said he's going to be the best player from Boston. Do you think he knows who Boston Rob is?
Oh, I think he certainly does. I think that's why I think he's rocking a Red Sox hat. But his accent doesn't even sound like a Boston accent. It sounds kind of like a Jersey accent.
It sounds like the North. Hey, I'm from Jersey. I don't have that accent. He sounds like he's got that North Jersey obnoxious. What the hell is that? He really does.
It's like you could like see this guy on the Jersey Shore. You wouldn't be surprised. Like he could be in that cast.
He's a contractor. He's 24 years old. His personal claim to fame is that he was the captain of the Boston High School All-Star football team and basketball team. Like, he graduated the bachelor's degree. I feel like this is the guy, he goes home, he, like, works out, he tans, he sits there, he has family time with his family, loves his mom, loves his dad. Everybody else is just kind of like, dude, this guy's a tool. And I feel like that's really what it just comes down to. I feel like he's a huge tool. And I prove me wrong, Rodney, but I don't see it at all.
I think he could be fun to watch, and it depends how annoying he is. But if he's like funny and actually clever and a little bit aware of what's going on, I can see him having some really hilarious confessionals. I just don't see him getting to the end, and if he gets there, I don't see anyone voting for this guy. I mean, he's 24. I feel like he's really is in like a kid. He's just not. He's like us. He's just not matured yet to like this adult level. Like, why would anyone want to give this guy $1 million? His three things is so funny. They get a cell phone if it has service, my boys, and a group of girls.
That's what I'm saying.
I think he's a funny guy.
You know what it is, though? I don't know if he's playing that character or if he actually believes all this. Because if he's playing that character, yeah, that's funny. But if he believes all this, he should be on the Jersey Shore. And he's so ridiculous. Oh, my God. You know what he reminds me of? And from previous seasons, not because of his build and anything, but just the way I feel like he's going to act in the confessionals he's going to give, he reminds me of Rocky from Fiji. That's who he reminds me
I
of.
was, yeah, I could see that. I was gonna say he reminds me of Rob from, oh man, what season? One of the
Thailand.
Robs that, what's that?
Thailand?
Yeah, who like was this really kind of, he was like a bartender or something, and he really like grew up on Survivor, and it was really an important experience for him. I see
Yeah.
him kind of like that, and I know he went home early, Rob. I think he went home in like fifth or sixth or something,
He went
but
home
he
right
really
before the
had a,
bird.
yeah, he had a good time out there, and if we'll see with Rodney. I think he'll be fun to watch. Chances of winning, I give it a 0. He's with I guess we have a few now. We have Joaquin, Rodney, and Lindsay as like people that just they aren't winning this game.
Yeah, and my whole thing with Rodney is if he is like Rocky and he brings me good TV, Rocky entertained me. I know people hate the Fiji cast, but I loved Rocky, man. He was entertaining. He was stupid enough, but he was also aware enough. He was like the perfect balance. If Rodney's like that, good. I'm all for it. But if he goes out there, man, and he just starts talking about gym, tan, laundry, and like that's what he's talking about, and like I'm just not gonna be able to do it. I'm just really not gonna be able to do it. I don't know. Entertain me, don't annoy me.
Okay, we'll move on to Mike.
I'm
Now
iffy
Mike
on
is
Mike.
yeah, Mike is interesting. I don't get him being like this like annoying guy, but I don't see him. His voice is really weird. When he spoke, it's like he's grunting every time
He's.
he talks.
I agree, and I wrote down next to his name. I wrote weirdo, and I know that that was a reference to his voice because I didn't know what he was like, why he was talking like that.
Like when you look at his picture, he has this great smile, not the one that we're showing here, but on the CBS website, he's got this smile. He's a oil driller from Texas. I think he's gonna be this jolly guy, and he starts talking like he's got like something stuck in his. I don't even know what's going on with his voice, but um, I don't. I think he'll get labeled as like a physical threat, and I don't think he's smart enough strategically to like get that target off his back and make an alliance. And I don't think things look good for Mike.
Yeah, I don't. Like I said, I don't know how I feel about Mike. He could win. I do feel like he's not somebody I would count out as a winner. It just depends on who's going to team up with him and why. That's what it really comes down to for me. Like, why would you team up with him and who's actually going to do it?
And he said he's loyal to like a fault, which is just such a bad trait to have in Survivor. I can
Yeah.
see him just getting totally, blindsided by someone he makes an alliance with. I don't know who one of those like Rodney. I could see Rodney going up to Mike. Oh, you're my boy, man. Let's take this to the end, and then he votes him out.
And that's
Just
why
because Rodney just wants to make a big move and say he's the best player ever, and you have to blindside people. That's what makes you good at Survivor. He would just do it for no reason, and Mike would be just he'd be so in love with Rodney. They have this brotherhood, and then he'd get voted out. I can see Mike screams blindside to me.
Mike and Rodney, they got something in common here because if you look at Mike's hobbies, it says he likes disc golf, running, and picking up ladies. And if he keeps talking about picking up ladies, him and Rodney are going to be best pals, man.
Yeah,
They're going to be best buddies.
I could see that. And Sierra, that's why I see Sierra fits well in this tribe with those two guys. I know Mike's a little bit older, but if he's single still, Sierra's really hot, and she's 27, so I guess that's 16 years. It's not like the weirdest thing.
No, it's only 11 years. He's 38.
Oh, he's 38. I thought he was 43 for some reason. Oh, he's 38. Oh, go Mike. Have fun.
Yeah. I mean, this tribe's going to have a fun dynamic. I really do think that. I just don't feel like any of these people are going to win. I couldn't get a read on most of these people. With the white collars, I kind of knew how I felt. With these people, I really don't know how I feel.
Yeah, Mike. It'll be interesting to see just how smart he is. That's kind of because he's probably physically strong. They'll keep him around for challenges, but is he like John Minch from San Juan del Sur, where he's got he's built, but John just didn't know what was going on. Like he didn't know the game. Like I could see Mike kind of falling into that. The people he says he's like is Cochran, Aussie, and Boston Rob. So it's another three, just like those are all over the place.
Yeah. I don't know.
Um, I hope he's strategic, and if he proves to be a strategic player, not just someone who's like, I want to make moves, and actually think far ahead, I could see him doing well.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see with Mike. I hope Mike kind of does good because I mean, I'd like to see these players come out here and play. I'd rather see people come out and go down fighting than just kind of roll over and die. I just
Oh, he's
don't
a
know. I don't
fighter.
know. I don't know if he's smart enough. That's what it comes down to. I don't know if he's smart enough.
Yeah, I don't think we don't lack any fighters this season. I think everyone here is here to play. That was evident by the just the videos. Everyone was pretty adamant about I'm going to do whatever it takes, and that's what I like to see. Okay, so we'll now move on to Dan.
He's my
Now
favorite, man.
I think Dan is awesome.
I
Not that I
love
think he has
Dan.
a good chance to win. I like this guy, and it's funny that he lists disc golf as one of his hobbies, just like Mike. So they'll get to talking about disc golf, and might become pretty good buddies.
Hey, and if he starts talking about, I mean, I know he has a wife, but he could play disc golf with Mike while Mike and and Rodney are trying to pick up Sierra, and there's your four-person alliance. Kelly and Lindsay are done.
That could easily happen.
That would be
He's
perfect.
it says postal worker, but it's not like he's a mailman. Like he's a technician. So he's like and he's a landlord. So he does a lot of stuff. Um, the only thing I fear with Mike is that he's like the older guy. He's kind of fat. I don't see him being that like physical and strong in challenges. But if he can form an alliance and get by, I think like he seems like he knows the game inside and out. He said he's applied like
30
since
times.
season 2 or
Yeah.
something. Like he's a huge fan, so I think he does have what it takes to be a winner. I just don't know if he can make it past, the pre-merge section where it's part of the game where if you're not, strong, if you're a liability in challenges, no matter how strategic or smart you are, you just can't get out of that.
Yeah, and the thing with him is he could. It depends on when the tribe swap happens with him, I feel like. Because I don't think he's one of the weakest people. I feel like he might be the second or third weakest on his tribe, but I feel like he's more likable than somebody like Rodney who might take over hey, let's vote out Rodney because we just can't stand him and we feel like a tribe swap's coming. When a swap does happen, which it always does in these three tribe things, it's going to depend who he gets stuck with because he's such a likable guy. I could see him getting along well with anybody who's out there, especially the no-collars. I feel like they would love this guy because he's like the old father figure who's just kind of like laid back, but like a really funny guy. And I feel like he's going to tell some of the best stories out there, like in terms of just like stuff that you wish like your dad or something would say. Like I feel like he's that type of guy.
Yeah, I think he has the likability enough, to hang around and then also to get votes if he were to make it to the end. And just I get good vibes from Dan. I feel like he might get pegged as like because he's got gray hair, he's got a beer belly, he's fat. Like I just fear that he might go down that way. Just kind of he's because I think it goes probably Lindsay's probably the weakest. I would see her going first on this tribe, but after that, I think it's probably Dan, right? Unless you think because Kelly is pretty strong and Sierra is pretty strong, so. At least
I feel, you
what
know
we
what,
think and what we from before seeing them perform in challenges.
what normally ends up happening is you get these people who, like Lindsay, we both feel like is an easy first boot from this tribe, and then if they don't go to tribal council for 3 to 6 days, you might see them start to actually form the alliances, and it's not as much of a big deal as who's the weakest. It's hey, I'm from Boston, he's from Maine. Like we're kind of like we're both Irish, whatever it comes down to, and then you end up liking that guy more. Like people start bonding over ridiculous stuff. If he can make it past that first boot, I think he could be okay for a while because of his charisma and the way people feel about him.
Yeah, what's interesting with these three tribe seasons is that it's a lot easier to not go to tribal for a while,
Yeah,
right? Because like when you have two tribes, it's a 50-50 shot. You're gonna eventually go to tribal, unless it's Palau. But these three tribes, you have a 66% chance of avoiding tribal. So I think it was like an All Stars, that tribe with
Boston
um,
Rob never went.
Boston and Rob Sesternino, like
They
I
went
think what they
once.
went to tribal first on like day 12 or
Yeah,
something.
and they got rid of Rob Sesternino, and then they didn't go again until the tribe swap. I don't remember All Stars exactly, but I know they only went once. And
Right, they
then
went to tribal council once. So if that's the thing with these three tribes. So I guess if you're weak, that kind of gives you gotta avoid tribal council. But yeah, if Dan can survive the first couple weeks, maybe the first 2 or 3 episodes, if he's still in there, I can definitely see him hanging around and making stuff happen.
yeah, and I'd like to see that. He seems like a likable guy. I feel like Dan's he's gonna be a fan favorite. I feel like no matter where he goes out.
hmm I agree. Okay, we'll move on to Will.
Oh, you don't want to rank him and all that? Now we're just skipping over that. Blue Tribe doesn't get as much credit.
Oh, okay. We will we will rank the blue collar tribe. Good point.
But in terms of white versus blue, do you agree that the blue collar tribe definitely has less of a chance to win overall in terms of like they have less of a chance of getting first place than the white collar tribe does?
No, I think white collar tribe it has the worst chance to win
Really?
just because of the whole money thing. Like white collar means that you're successful and have a lot of money, and if it's a blue collar and a white collar, let's say if it's a final two, I think just someone from the white collar tribe being pegged as white collar versus someone who's like pegged as like a hard worker, even if they aren't, just because this is like a stereotype kind of thing, just they're gonna award it to the. I mean, unless it's like Rodney as a goat that everyone hates, and then Max Dawson, who's a really nice smart guy, like they who's like a teacher, that could happen. But I'm saying overall, I think the white collar tribe has the least shot because you could see Mike winning, I could see Dan winning, I can see Sierra winning, I can see Kelly winning. So that's 4 out of the 6 that I could see winning. Not that I don't, not that I like all that or I want them to win or anything, but I could see. I don't see Lindsay and I don't see Rodney winning. Other than that, I think 4 out of 6 can win.
You know what it is with Rodney too. If we're gonna rank these guys, I think that he's got the least chance to win on the blue collar. But I was also the one who said Tony was just gonna piss people off too, and I feel like I get a little bit of a Tony vibe from Rodney, but I don't feel like Rodney's as smart as Tony.
I just
Tony was a little bit older.
Rodney's just so young. I don't
Yeah.
see him like keeping it together and being aware of what's going on and I just don't see him doing what's needed to do to like get to the end and get votes. I think it is. I don't see it happening. But yeah, we can rate. I would go. Yeah, I'd actually go Lindsay, then Rodney. I'd say Lindsay's the weakest, then Rodney, then Mike, then Kelly, then Dan, then Sierra. I would say Sierra is my number one from this tribe.
And I would have the exact same as you, except I would have Rodney last, and I would have Lindsay at 5, because if Lindsay somehow ever made it to the end, Lindsay would be able to win. I don't think Rodney would in any situation. Just from the minute and a half I saw of him, I don't think he has a shot in hell.
Okay. You know what? I agree with you there. I'll go with your ranking too. Good point. Yeah. All right. So yeah, that's the blue collar tribe. I was hoping more from the blue collar tribe. I wanted my winner pick to be from the blue collar tribe because that was the prediction I made before the cast was announced. I was just saying, you know what? I'm feeling blue collar, but sadly, I don't think it's gonna happen. Okay. So we'll move on to Will.
And this is my first member of no collar. And I
That's
like
right.
Will.
Really? See, I want to like Will because my name's Will, and I want to stick together with Will, but I didn't get much from him, and I mean I can see him being fun to watch and entertaining. I don't see it doesn't seem like a person who's going to win the game.
You know what it is with Will? I don't know if he's going to try to act too much, because I know on his occupation it says YouTube sensation or he's an actor. And I'm hoping that he doesn't try to act too much, because when he starts being real, like I felt like he was being in his little videos, his like minute and a half interview, I felt like he was a really good guy who I really like. And then he says the survivor he's most like is Earl, and I don't know if he said that, like why he said that, if because he thinks Earl's the best winner that ever played. Wait, what'd you say?
I think it's also because they share skin color.
Maybe, but like at the same time, like, did he say that because Earl is easily like, what is he the only black male to ever win?
Yeah.
I mean, he's Earl's one of the best winners ever, and I mean maybe that's why Will said it, or maybe it is because he thinks that because he was a black winner and now Will wants to be the second black winner. But I think Will's a good guy. I like Will.
I'm not saying I don't like him. He seems like a great guy, nice guy. I don't think he's cut out to win Survivor. I think he's too nice. I think he's probably too loyal. He says three words to describe you: funny, loyal, and caring. I mean, it's good to be funny. To be loyal on Survivor doesn't really do you much. To be caring, it's like, you see it all the time. People give their rewards up, and then they get voted off. Like it's not. It doesn't. Being nice is not enough to win this game. And I don't think he has that next. Like he has the part where like, okay, he's likable enough for people to give him votes. He's funny. Like he's probably maybe works harder on camp. Who knows? That's yet to be seen. But I just don't think he has that like up to that level of strategic thinking, like getting votes to vote people out, making moves. That's the part I don't see Will providing that. And this season has so many players that are coming to play, that want to make moves, that want to blindside people, that he's just gonna get picked off because that's not the way he's playing.
I kind of agree with you that I don't think that he has the mind for it, but I also feel like he's one of those guys. If he does start, if he gets into an alliance, Will could run with it. Like he could go all the way to the end with it, and he seems like he's such a nice guy that if he doesn't have to make these backstabbing moves, they might give it to him. Because nobody's going to look at him and say he has money, because I don't know if he does, but if he says he's an actor or a YouTube sensation, he still lives in Sherman Oaks, California, he's got to have some sort of money.
Yeah, Sherman Oaks is a nice place. But the thing with this season, I don't feel like there's going to be an alliance that rides this thing to the end. There's too many. That's like what I'm getting at. Is there's just too many people that want to make moves, not even because it's a smart thing. They just want to make moves to say they made a move. Not even like people do that all the time. They just want to blindside so they can take credit for doing something. And this season, I just feel like there's too many people like that for someone like Will. Like they won't let Will get to the end. They just won't let it happen. And unless he's some kind of challenge beast.
Yeah.
So that's my thinking for Will. I don't think he has a very good chance to win.
We'll see what ends up happening. I mean, I think that he's one of those guys. He makes it to the end, he wins. But once again, like you're saying, I don't know if he'll make it to the end. I like him though. I'm happy he's on the season.
Yeah, me too. He seems like a good character, a good guy to have on the show. So, all right, on to Jen.
Dude, I love Jen, and this is somebody I would align with, dude.
I love Jen too. I'll say it. She's my pick to win.
Dude, she's my pick to win too. And this, like I just said, look at us go. She's the type of person that if I showed up on the island and I saw somebody who was like her and heard the way she talked and everything like that, this is the person I would try to make the final two alliance with. She just seems like that. She's so relaxed and she's so chill, and she's not the best looking one out there. And she doesn't seem like she really cares if you think she's the best looking one out there. Dude, there's just something about her. She's charismatic and she's so dry and sarcastic. Dude, I like her. I really do. I love this girl.
I'm just bummed that we have the same winner pick. Like we did not talk about this before. Like I'm finding this out now. I was excited to have that's how it is, I guess. I mean, maybe one of us will change our picks, but from just the cast bios and the videos, she came off the best. She seems like she knows how to play the game and seems how to win. Like she's not gonna play too aggressively. She's not gonna make moves for no reason. I mean, she's likable. She's just not. She doesn't seem annoying. She seems really chill and relaxed, and that's really important. Just to be someone who's not going to yell at you or get in a fight. Like she'll just be. I think she'll be looked at too by the other players as someone who's not threatening. Even though, as an audience, we'll see like, wow, she definitely knows what she's doing. She's not pissing anyone off. If she does make a bold move, she'll have like a great way of explaining it. I think she will make good relationships. But I mean,
you know what I love about Jen is it says she might come off as looking a little bit weak at first, but then she serves, she kickboxes, she hikes. What I love about her is when they ask her what Survivor contestant are you most like, everybody will normally say Parvati because she's like sneaky and stuff. This person's clever. This is whatever. Blah blah. She says Malcolm because he's me in guy form, which I think is hysterical because all she's saying is like, yeah, this is who I am. I'm not going to try to pretend I'm this clever, sneaky, crazy person. I'm just kind of like me. And people love Malcolm. She didn't really have to say anything else. I mean, that sold me right there. Like that's just how she is. And then at the end, she says, "Plus, I can BS my way through just about any situation." That's what
I
you got to
love
do
that.
on Survivor.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. After reading her bio, I was like, I think this is the chick. I mean, we don't have much to go on, but she's she's both of our winners picks. I don't know if we need to say more, but yeah, it'll be fun to watch her play, and I'll be rooting for her, just because she's the pick. But things can change between now and the premiere, so we'll see if that sticks. We have to let these bios and videos sit with us a little bit, as everyone has to do that. You might go back and forth, but right now we got Jen.
Well, when we
Okay,
do Survivor Fantasy, whoever gets first pick better take Jen. Otherwise, boy, did you mess up. Now that we both know
right.
the
That's the problem. I was hoping that we would have different kind of views. I was hoping maybe you'd take Kelly first or something. I hate Kelly, and you like Kelly, so
I was not expecting you to have Jen at number one. I really wasn't, dude. I'm
I,
surprised.
it's her bio did it all. Okay, moving on to Nora. Is that what it is?
Nina.
Nina. The whole hearing thing. It's too much. To it's just not. I don't think it's gonna happen.
The pity vote, man. That's what it always comes down to. Whenever somebody has any sort of disability, we've seen it with people who have had one leg. We saw it. I mean, Christy, the first person ever be deaf on the show. I mean, she was brutal. Like she was not the nicest person in the world. So, maybe Nina comes. I mean, so she wasn't going to get a pity vote. I just don't think people really liked Christy. With Nina, though, I mean, she's a huge fan of the show. I feel like she seems like she's a really likable person. When she's talking, you don't really realize that she's deaf. She doesn't really have like that lisp, or she seems like she really has a good idea of like what she's saying and how she's coming across. But once again, once people know you're deaf, man, they look at that as a reason for somebody to vote for you to win, and then they look at it as a reason to get rid of you.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if she needs to tell the tribe, look, I'm deaf, because this always happens when the disabled people come. Like Christy, she like got everyone together. I just want to let you guys know I'm deaf, and Kelly B in Nicaragua, she like got everyone like she revealed her pant leg, like this is my leg.
Chad in Vanuatu.
Yeah, Chad. It's like if she can get away with not telling anyone, and I don't. Is it visually obvious? I didn't really.
No, I didn't think. She got implants, like cochlear implants. So I don't know how much better that made her hearing. I don't know if she still can't hear a thing. She said that it's hard when people aren't looking at her. She's interesting with this because
she said that it was tough when like
a lot of people talk at once.
Or a lot of people talk at once. That's what it was. So that's interesting because if you can get it, then she said, "I'll tell them not to talk over each other." So I think she plans on telling them, and I think that right there just kills her game. To be honest, like I just think no matter how nice you are, no matter how hard you work, it's just you don't want to give someone a reason to just vote you off right off the bat, and it seems like that's what she's gonna do.
Yeah, because I mean, what's going to happen is when they get to emerge, if she's there at Final 7 or Final 6 or something like that, everybody's going to sit there and go, if we don't get rid of Nina right now, she's going to win the whole thing, unless she does come out and play like a Christie, which then she doesn't have a chance to win anyway. So
it's not looking good for her, I'd say.
Yeah. And she's older. So, I mean, she's got everything working against her right now. But I like her. I mean, she seems like she's a fun person.
Right. Okay. We'll move on to Joe.
I like Joe.
I'm like on the fence with Joe. I can see him being really cool, but he seems also, I feel like he might get on someone's nerves. Maybe not on his no-collar tribe. I think he'll fit well with his tribe, but if there's a swap or if he gets to the merge, he really might tick people off like white collar, blue collar people.
Yeah, he also looks the part of being like he looks like he's like a stronger guy. I feel like he's level-headed compared. I feel like him and Jen are the most level-headed on this tribe. I guess Nina too, but the thing with Nina, once again, with the whole hearing issue, um, Joe, I liked him. I feel like he's a little bit of a strategist, but I also feel like that could bite him in the ass if he starts thinking too much. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it does. And he's also visually a physical threat. I mean, we've had people like Bob dominate challenges, or even Cochran won a few immunities, like or Keith. Like last season, Keith
Yeah.
won a bunch of these challenges without looking the part. He looks the part of a physical threat. Like
Yes, he
you
does.
can't hide it. Like even just there's no getting around it. He's a big, strong, young, fit guy. Like, and have we ever seen like a big, young, strong, fit guy win Survivor? Maybe like Fabio, but Fabio was he was more athletic than he was like really big.
Yeah, I mean, Aris was probably the only one.
But he wasn't big. I mean, he's athletic, but he wasn't like a ripped. Like they have this. They have these beach bodies come on every season, and they always go.
Yeah,
They
but
just always go.
the thing with Joe is he's got more of like a Malcolm build. He's not like he's not like Pete. If you think in terms of Philippines, he's not like Pete. He's more like Malcolm.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, well, Malcolm has one, so
Yeah.
kind of what
Well,
I'm saying.
he says
A
that
little bit.
he's like a combination of Malcolm and Ozzy, which I think his look is Malcolm. It's a little bit Ozzy too.
And his hair is, Cook Island's Aussie. I think,
Yeah.
yeah, he does look like an Aussie Malcolm combo, and those are two players who have played 5 times collectively, and they've never won. So
Yeah.
I can see him doing well. I can see him going far. He seems likable. I like him. He seems cool. Chances of winning, I don't have Joe that high up on my list, but I wouldn't be surprised if he won either. I'm
Yeah.
just saying, like, out of the people we're going through, this cast, like, he's definitely in the lower rung of the ladder in terms of chances of winning.
I agree. I don't know if I'd put him at the lower rung of the ladder in chances of winning. He's middle of the pack to me.
Okay, I'd say a middle to lower for me.
Okay.
Like, he's not the obvious no chance in hell, but he's not the middle, right there at the middle either. He could. I think he has a lot working against him, just being fit, young, athletic, and if you're charming and nice, like that's a threat. That's a threatening quality as well. Like you need that so people don't vote you out because they hate you. But you can't be like loved by everyone unless you're JT and somehow pull that out. But that doesn't happen usually.
Yeah, there's your young fit guy. But the thing is with these 3 tribe seasons, you kind of throw out all conventional stuff. It kind of goes out the window. And I feel like that's why Joe could end up going really far in this, because alliances aren't just going to sit there like they do in a 2-tribe start. With a 3-tribe start, there's so much going on and there's such an extra dynamic. It adds a lot to the game, and I feel like that could help somebody like Joe.
I think that could, but eventually there will be a one merged tribe. And once that happens, if he's not winning immunity, I see him going, around that time as like a early merge boot.
Okay. I could see where you're coming from.
Yeah, I mean, this is all. If I had to like make a boot list, I would put him somewhere early. Like he'll make the merge, get voted out, maybe an episode or two after the merge.
Okay.
Okay. We'll move on to Haley, spelled pretty weirdly. I think it's Haley, right? It's not Hallie.
That's what I got from it.
Okay, so we'll call her Haley. Haley's pretty interesting. She didn't jump off the page or the screen, but I would say she has a better chance of winning than Joe. I'll start with that.
No, I don't, dude. I didn't like Haley.
Oh, you didn't? Nice.
I didn't like Haley. I don't know what it was about her. I just found her to be very bleh.
Is it because she picked Parvati and only Parvati?
It might be because she picked Parvati and only Parvati. Oh man, dude, I don't know what it is with her. I feel like she's trying to play. I mean, her thing, personal claim to fame, catching a huge wave last winter in Kauai. I feel like she's trying to play up her role as a no-collar person a little bit too much because she heard she was on no-collar. I just don't think she fits in with this group of people, man. I really don't. I just don't feel like she fits in with these people. Maybe I'm
I don't
wrong.
know. Like her favorite sport is jiu-jitsu and surfing. Like I get no Collery vibes from those.
Yeah,
Um,
I guess. I
those
don't know.
things. But yeah, she is a law student. It's like how no collar is being a law student.
That's what I'm saying. Like, she's going to start
Yeah, it's
talking law, and all these other people are going to sit there and they're going to be like, yeah, I'm an actor, or, whatever they are. Joe, I mean, Joe was a surfer, so maybe they can talk about surfing, but I don't know what it is about Haley. I wasn't a fan. I didn't really like her interview. I didn't really like her bio. I don't know.
okay.
I
I
don't have a
just
reason.
I feel like she would be just she just seems like a strong social player. I think she knows the game pretty well, and she's not this overbearing personality,
Well,
and I think you can like get along with her pretty easily.
well, let me ask you, too. Other than Sierra, best looking person on the season?
Yeah, I'd say Sierra is the hottest, and
Then
then
Haley.
Haley
Which
Hallie.
that always helps because then that's always an extra aspect for guys to get rid of you. And it's true. It happens every season. They might not want to get rid of you just because you're good looking, and then that ends up hurting them down the line. So I could see her staying around a little bit because of that.
Yeah, I mean we'll just have to see more. Once we see one episode, we'll have our whole opinions will probably change. Like as of now, I see her as like she could pull it off. She's like so far I have her like middle of the pack somewhere.
Yeah, I think she would be a pre-merge boot. I feel like she might be maybe the second person voted off this tribe. But if No Collar keeps winning, which to be honest with you, I feel like No Collar's the strongest tribe. I don't know why. I just feel like they're going
I
to have
think
some
they
sort
are
of
too.
dynamic.
I think they are too. They have Joe, Will, and then we'll get to Vince. But those are three pretty strong, big dudes.
And I feel like the women are very strong. I feel like the women are very, very strong women.
Yeah, and remember when this three tribe format, you only need to get second place. It's not like you need to win the challenge. You just need to not get last. So, you know, tribe like this, I could see. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna move on to. Are you done with Haley? Anything else on Haley?
No, let's move on to our man. Yes, we did this on purpose and put him last.
Vince. Vince seems like a cool dude. He's gonna be fun to watch.
I'm getting Coach 2.0 vibes from him, but I feel like he understands like
He's
that he's
not
out
like
there.
yeah. He's not like delusional like Coach was.
He's
Coach
self-aware.
Coach has delusions of grandeur and all about his ego. Like this guy seems like he kind of knows what's going on. He's a little bit more aware of himself and like he knows he's weird, but he's totally okay with it. He's a coconut vendor. I don't know,
That's the
like
coolest job. That's the coolest one, and maybe ever in the history of Survivor.
a coconut vendor. I've never come across a coconut vendor.
He's gonna work well on an island, though. He's gonna
Yeah, I
feed
mean
them all.
he's gonna know what to do with the coconuts. I'm sure he knows how to open them and get the most out of them, and maybe cool ways to cook them. Or I mean, he could be like some coconut guru coming in there showing his tribe, what's up with coconuts. Um, is he too weird? That's the question. Is he too out there?
I feel like Vince falls into the category of a Lindsay, where when you first look at him, you're gonna sit there and say, "Oh my God, this guy has feathers in his hair. He's bizarre. He's got that tattoo on his stomach that I have no clue what it is." But I feel like if people get to know Vince, they're gonna like Vince. I feel like he's a likable guy. I don't feel like you're gonna have any confessionals like it was with Aaron and Coach, where it was who is this jackass. I feel like what you're gonna get from Vince is this guy has surprised me, and I feel like that's gonna be his biggest like thing that works to his advantage to get him far in the game. If this guy ever ends up making it to the final, I think just from the minute and a half I saw of him, he might be the most likable. He might be the second most likable guy on this whole thing.
Yeah, I think if he gets there, he can win, and he's a life coach, which is really interesting. He's been like a life coach, like not a therapist or anything, like a life coach. I'm not sure exactly what that entails, but he says he knows people really well, and he can really read people, and that's a it's a pretty good skill to have in a game like Survivor. And he said something about like he can find out what people's motivations are. If he can figure that out, that will really help him. And he said he's not going to be super devious or lie all the time, but he is willing to not be honest 100%. So it doesn't seem like he's going to be like this villain who said that who was itching to be the villain? Mike. Mike said he was like itching to be the
Yeah.
villain. And that's like not the right mindset. You shouldn't want to lie and just blindside and make moves for the sake of doing it. It has to be, there has to be a benefit to it besides the act of it itself. And I think Vince is one of these players he won't be afraid to make a move as long as it's, a really beneficial move. He won't just piss people off for no reason.
Yeah, and what I like about Vince too is, I mean, he's another one. When you look at the contestant he's most like, he says he's flirty and uses his sex appeal like Parvati, and he has a bit of Coach and Fabio too. I feel like those
What
are
a combo! What a killer combo!
That is a killer combo, and the thing is, with those three people, all three of them were very undervalued, or not undervalued, but people underestimated them heavily. And they all did very well on the show. Parvati and Fabio have both won. Coach almost won. He got second place. He got fifth place. They're all very underestimated people. The difference between him and Coach is I think he's more like Fabio and Parvati, where he knows exactly what he is. And he knows that's exactly what he has to do to win the game.
Yeah, I think he's weird like Coach, but his mindset is so different from Coach. Like he's not this egomaniac who doesn't really realize like how he comes off to other people. I think like he's actually a really, genuine, sincere guy.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see Vince play. I'd say chances of winning maybe like middle to upper tier. I'm not going to say I think he's probably not one of the top 2 or 3, but he's, definitely higher than average.
Yeah, and that might surprise some people, but I agree with you. I actually have Vince as my second, as my number 2 pick, as my number 1 guy. So, I mean, that might surprise people.
You're revealing a lot to me about your
those
your
are the only 2
draft
things
order.
I'm telling you. But in terms of guys, Vince, there's just something about him where I feel like he's one of those guys. If he gets past like the first vote on this no collar tribe, I feel like he's got it set up.
Which I think he will. I think he's probably just by looking at the people, I think he's the strongest physical person. Like physically, he's the strongest one out of the whole group. Who do you think's like stronger than Vince? I don't think anyone is.
No, I mean Joe's the only one who can give him a run for the money, unless Will has like that old man strength. You know what I'm talking about? Where it's just like I can lift heavy objects.
Yeah, no, I don't. If anything, I think it would be like Tyler or Joaquin.
Yeah.
Being physically, just big and strong. But I'd say he's number 1 in terms of strength. But we'll have to see how he performs in challenges. Sometimes these big fit guys can't perform in the challenges. So, all right, let's do a ranking of the no collar tribe. We've already said Jen's our pick to win.
Yep.
My pick to win and your pick to win, not like our pick to win.
Like
as we decide together, but we just both think that Jen has the best chance of winning. So yeah, I'd say Jen's 1, Vince probably 2. Then I would go Joe probably. Joe, Will, Haley. I don't know, Will and Haley I could flip flop, and then I would say Nina is definitely at the bottom.
Yeah, and I agree almost completely with you. Jen at 1, Vince at 2, Joe at 3, Will 4, Haley 5, and then Nina 6. And it's nothing against Nina. It's just when people see a disability, they're not getting rid of you because they think you're a weakness. They're getting rid of you because they think you can win the game.
Right. And I'll say I think Will is 5 and Haley's 4. Not that means anything. But yeah, that's the whole cast. I'm excited about the cast.
I love this cast. I think that this is one of the most exciting casts we've seen. I wasn't even excited about Cagayan when it came out. So, I mean, I love that cast.
Not at all. Yeah, I thought it was kind of a normal looking thing. I thought the theme was a little weird. Like the Brains, Bronze versus Beauty, they're going to overplay the shit out of that. Whatever. It'll be Survivor season. And then that was, one of our favorite seasons. And then this season, it just seems it's a really interesting, diverse group of people, and they seem like they all are here to play the game. And like we said when we did our season ranking, it's just when there's a weak cast, it just hurts the season. When you have one alliance or one person dominate the game, no matter how impressive it is, it's just not fun to watch. And I think there's so many people here that are coming to play that it's going to be great to watch.
I would say preseason, this is the most excited I've been, don't count heroes versus villains, since Tocantins. I would say this is the most excited I've been for a season since Tocantins.
I'll say this is probably the most excited I've been for a season probably ever, just because we're like podcasting now, so it's more fun. Like, we just had San Juan del Sur, which was a real snooze fest. Maybe Heroes vs. Villains I was more excited for, but it seems just like a great cast. From what Jeff has said, it plays out really well. So there's a twist that was revealed today, and I'm not sure if you know it, but they're going to do the same idol twist that they did in Cagayan.
I'm sorry, you were coming through like a monster.
You couldn't hear me?
Oh, now you're good. Before you were coming through like a monster. If anybody heard that, we apologize. I don't know what that was. But,
Okay, so there's a new twist. It's not a new twist, but they're doing the same twist they did with in Cagayan with the idol and the bag of rice. And instead of having one person make the decision, they're going to have two people do it. I think from each tribe.
I'm excited about that. I think that's a great idea because now people have to lie together or not lie together.
Yeah,
and now somebody's going to
know. And it'd just be so funny if there's two people that, they get the clue or they get the note that says pick between a clue or a bag of rice, and one person's like, dude, we got to go idol, and the other one's like, dude, we got to go rice. Like, I could see that being really, what would you do in that situation? It would really depend on what the other person wanted to do. I would just go with whatever they want to do. That would be my answer.
That would be my thing too. I would let them decide, and if we were both out there together and we didn't know each other and we both had that mindset, we'd be playing rock, paper, scissors to decide.
We would, like, if I was there, if I just met you and you're like, yeah, up to you, I'd be like, hey, up to you. And then I think if we were both in that same mindset, we'd probably form an alliance and go for the idol. That's what I would think would happen.
Yeah, probably. We'll see what happens.
If someone's thinking that same mindset as you probably want to align with them, just because you're not going to get caught off guard. Well, who knows? I would probably blindside you at some point, probably around 7, and then ride out whoever I flipped with to the end.
You wouldn't even make it to the merge.
All right, so they're doing that twist. That'll be fun. There's still a new twist or a new advantage that we don't know about. We'll see how that works.
Either way, good. This has a lot going for it right now. And as long as this stuff, I mean, I love that new twist. I love this cast. If this advantage is cool, we're going to have a hell of a season on our hands.
Right. Okay, so next week we'll probably do some type of Survivor Fantasy game. We'll have to figure out the specifics on points and rules and stuff. But that will be fun. And maybe, I don't know, there's some interviews coming out from cast members and stuff. I saw one with Sharon today. I think that was, so there'll probably be some more info coming out. We can, talk about the cast more. But yeah, we'll do some type of fantasy thing.
Yeah, should be exciting. We'll work out the kinks and, we'll see who, we'll see what ends up happening. I don't know. I'm excited.
I don't know if these photos work. We'll have to figure out the photo thing. We might not need it next time, but we should we'll learn how to use Google Hangouts better. I have no idea if any of these photos showed up or where they showed up. So we'll see what happens with that.
All right.
Yeah, we apologize for the lack of Google Hangout knowledge, but it'll get better.
All right. Well, So, sorry if that all came out like crap with the pictures. Yeah, like he said, we'll get better. And maybe you guys will just be looking at us next time. We'll see how this turned out.
Who knows? Maybe they already were. All right. Till next week.